Okay, we're live, man. Welcome, Johnny, to a brave, adventurous, ordinary podcast, man. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I don't
Lucky they
know,
can't
man.
see your video.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we did like a podcast thing, so I'm kind of rusty at this, you know.
Hmm. You're rusty. Are you excited though to finally do a podcast again?
Kinda, yeah. I've been honestly missing, small life, big dreams. But yeah, I'm glad to be here now.
It's
It's a
nice,
long
no,
time no see.
something scheduled from week to week
Yeah.
where you just talk with a few friends and like publish something, officialize
Mm-mm.
something. It is a bit nice, no?
Of course. It's especially because we all graduated and stuff. That's kind of hard. So, I don't know, having this type of podcast and you just, going around your friends or people, just talking to them, I find that really nice. So sometimes I even dream about me doing that with my friends. Um, but yeah,
I I think it's always easier said than done because
yeah,
our old podcast model was just that. It's just we ran out of things to talk about. Like you can only talk about so many things with the same two people, three people, over and over again, and then podcasting starts to get stale, right? Um,
yeah.
well, um, to not make it stale, I definitely wanted to do something solo. And this episode, actually, I prepared something from the past, a relic from the past. I
Mm,
prepared the question of the day for you. I'm not
really?
sure if that's familiar. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
not sure if
yes.
that's familiar or not, but we have a
Mm-mm.
question of the day for you. So, the question of the day is, in 2024, what was the most unexpected thing that happened, but something that you're still grateful for?
Actually, 2024 was like pretty one of the craziest years, because so many things happened. But I mean, number one unexpected thing is the
Sorry to
um.
interrupt. You need to talk a
Yeah.
little louder
Oh,
to get
okay.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Hmm. Maybe the fact that I have to go to military first and do my service first, and then going to college. At first, it was like I couldn't accept that fact and that option as me, and I kept trying to push forward the idea of going to college first and then thinking of what to do next with my military service, because it's mandatory. But then in the end, I slowly had to accept the fact that I have to go, and that's like the only choice and like the best choice right now. So that was like a really big turning point in 2024. But in the end, I find it grateful. I find it maybe it was like the best choice because eventually, I have to come back from, college and there will be more problems later on. So I find that nice because I feel like before I was being too selfish and just trying to achieve my goals. But yeah.
How did you originally cope with the news actually? Because you said you found it hard to accept, right? So how do you as a person usually deal with things that are hard to accept?
Um, I think uh honestly, I don't think it takes too long for me to accept such things. I just at first, like the first stage is just keep on denial, the ongoing denial, and I just ignore the idea, like the option itself. And then when it really comes to me, I think relatively I get it, I accept it right away. And it's because like I don't know, I think of it as like maybe it's like God's plan, you know. Maybe it's God's way, the way that he wants me to. go on with life. And with that mindset, with having God in your mindset, I don't want to be, too religious, but
Too
with the
Christian.
but
No, you're
with
not.
that
Don't
God
worry.
mindset, yeah, with that God mindset, it's like everything becomes so much easier to accept because God is there for you, He's the
Definitely,
one
definitely,
he's the one working for you, and he has all the, worries, the problems handled for you. So in that way,
definitely,
it was kind of easy for me to accept it. So it wasn't too bad. Yeah.
definitely. I think there are so many positive aspects of religion, that being
Yeah.
one of them, because it's actually interesting. This is a bit unrelated, but if if by some unfortunate stretch of life you find yourself to be an alcoholic, and you find yourself in a recovery group for a 12-step program. A 12-step program is what we call recovery for a it's basically like a step-by-step process to recovery for addicts, and
Mm,
it's basically a recovery group. And from being in that space, I actually learned that um, I actually learned that God and like this whole idea of religion is so important there, because they don't actually call it the Christian God. A lot of these people actually call it just a higher power, and what they're saying
right.
is basically like, even if you're an atheist or agnostic, the fact that you can rely on someone else, the universe, God, uh Brahman, Allah,
Mm-hmm.
whichever one you believe in, to like carry your weight and to help you in times of disaster, that's what ultimately helps you become sober. So I found that really interesting, actually, that there's so many applications mentally and spiritually for believing in a God. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just, the afterlife, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry. I I was thinking more into religion while you were talking about it, so I kind of
Mm-hmm.
lost track. So, but
Yeah, no
yeah,
worries.
for sure, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
Well,
I'm kind of honestly, I'm kind of like a newbie into this whole
religion
Christianity
thing?
stuff.
Yeah.
Or yeah, like I mean, I've always been exposed to Christianity because of my mom, maybe like, since middle school and stuff. But then I
Mm-hmm.
never actually like truly wanted to be a Christian by myself, by my own will.
Mm-hmm.
But starting 2024, like maybe like July when I came to Korea, that's the point where I willingly joined the church and a even like a youth team inside the church. And I don't know, also wasn't in my plan, of course, of 2024, so that could be a turning point too. And at first I was very scared because it's like a whole new community of youths, believing in Christ, and they're so passionate about it. Wow. I haven't even read the Bible, like,
Mm-hmm.
but I only know like the ideas of God, the idea of the teachings of it through the chapel sessions, but not through the Bible. So I don't know. In some way, I still find myself like an imposter among that group, and because I still don't know the Bible. I still there's so much stuff I don't know about. Yet I still pray. I still want to be, a follower, and but it's not
Mm-hmm.
that easy. It's not that
Yeah,
easy to become a follower. So
for
there's
sure.
still like a dilemma still. Yeah.
I definitely think there's a stretch of space before you actually get somewhere where you kind of feel like you're not worthy yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Like,
what yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of that space where you're trying your best to acquire something, to learn something new, but and everyone you're surrounded with is just like better at it or more knowledgeable than you, and
Exactly.
you're kind of like, do
Yeah.
I really belong here? But I don't think you can get anywhere in life without actually being in that stage. No, it's always that
Mm-mm.
uncomfortable stage at first.
Yeah, and like just talking to my some of my friends in uni already, like they also even feel the imposter syndrome there too. Like even though they got into the uni that, they wanted and they were, um accepted for, and yet they still feel, kinda the
Imposter
imposter.
syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's actually really funny because imposter syndrome has popped up in my vocabulary like multiple times, like dozens of times. And
mm-mm,
I think it's a funny twisting of fate because I was listening to a podcast as well, and someone described something I related to so much. And then at the
mm.
end, they just said they just put a label on it, imposter syndrome. And I was like, "Oh shit, it
Oh,
came back again, man."
yeah.
There's something special about this word, you know. So I actually vividly remember the first time I heard about imposter syndrome. It wasn't necessarily it wasn't necessarily that I was in a gray zone. It was more that
Mm,
I was in an NHS meeting. It was a
mm,
National Honor Society meeting for high schoolers. And it's basically this congregation of people who are academically driven, and it's some sort of club, you know, in high school.
right.
And the speaker that year was the headmaster of our school, Mr. Atkins, and he actually talked about imposter syndrome. He addressed the crowd, and he was like,
Mm,
okay, he not verbatim, but he pretty much said like, okay, you guys in the crowd, I kind of know how you guys are feeling. A lot of you guys are probably high achievers in school, but you probably feel like this is all a mistake and that you don't really belong here. And it was just some kind of accident that led you to get up here on stage and, you know, be in the NHS. And I was just like relating that to my life, and I was like, "Oh shit,
mm-mm.
yeah. This guy's right." You know, like this
He's a
guy,
genius.
this guy's a genius, right? Like tests,
Yeah.
I felt unconfident. I was like, do I really deserve to find this level of success? Is it all a fluke? Like, you know, am I just gonna lose it tomorrow because everyone finds out I'm a fake and the
Right.
world punishes me for it? And that's happened a lot in my life, from academic achievements all the way to recently when I got my scholarship at UCID.
Mm.
I was scared because I didn't know how to react. I thought that, you know, it was just a mistake. So, imposter syndrome is something I've really had the privilege of meeting, actually. Imposter
Mm-mm.
syndrome.
You think you kind of overcame that, maybe from that you said scholarship too, or maybe like, maybe kind of comparing yourself with others kind of.
Um, a little bit. I think that I think that I never really overcame imposter syndrome, but I kind of learned to live with it. I think imposter
Right,
syndrome
right.
is also a defense mechanism because us
Mm,
as humans kind of believe that you know, if we kind of play damage control and
right.
we, you know, look out for the other outcomes and ground ourselves back into reality, then we won't hurt our own feelings as much when we fail or if we fail.
Mm,
So
yeah.
I think that's a big reason why people get imposter syndrome, you know. Um,
Mm-mm, for
but
sure.
yeah, going back to you, like, are you nervous about enlisting in the military at all? I'm kind of
Uh,
curious.
um, because I'm excused because of my pneumothorax, um, I there's two options for me, right? There's the voluntary option where I just do
Hmm. Yeah,
the
explain that a little bit.
yeah, where I do the government um stuff basically. So
Hmm.
like the country stuff, maybe like I could work in an elementary school. Maybe I could work in this maybe like this parking lot.
For the
I could be
military.
working. Yeah. I could just be working there from like 8 to 5, 9 to 6, and I'll just be working from home too. And like the bad side of that is if you're unlucky, you could go into like no, it's not necessarily bad, but it's just like a really hard thing. Maybe like um you have to take care of elderly people or like disabled people, which is pretty difficult in my opinion. It's
Hmm.
meaningful, but it's difficult, and you have to like um take control and manage their like, um poop and pee, those type
Yeah.
of stuff. So,
Yeah.
you know, so that's one option.
Hmm.
And the other option I could go for is applying to companies enlisted by the government and accepted by the government. And they are not like big companies, obviously.
Yeah.
They're like maybe like a startup or like the middle.
Huh.
So but for those you have to really apply and then get
Yes.
accepted and through interviews and stuff.
Oh, it's a long
So
process.
yeah. And so both have both goods and bads, pros and cons, but for me, I personally is trying to push forward to the company idea
Yeah.
option. So I don't know, I'm still working for it, still trying to apply, but
Yeah.
let's see.
So,
Yeah.
so in no part of this are you actually gonna be like on the front lines with a machine gun, gunning down North Koreans?
Um,
There's,
no,
there's no chance. There's no chance,
no.
Chief.
But unfortunately, but very fortunate compared to others. I'm only doing the 3 week training thingy.
Ah.
Training, yeah. And this is like mandatory for everyone, whether you're going voluntary or whatnot. So I need to, shave my hair, go to
Oh,
three
that'll
weeks
be
of
a sight to
training.
see.
Yeah, yeah, I need to slip and, train like a military force. So I don't know that's gonna be new for me. I don't really look forward to that, but
Oh
yeah.
man. I mean, I look forward to seeing you go through that. I don't know if
I don't know.
for sure it'll be a new experience, but
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll help you help shape you as a person for sure because you've
yeah,
never done anything like that in your life, no. And uh I don't know. I've heard tons of stories from people who have been
right.
in the military and it kind of like toughened them up, made them more
Yeah,
disciplined. So maybe you'll experience that in 3 weeks. It might need to be longer though,
maybe.
honestly. Yeah.
I think like the biggest takeaway I'm assuming is from that 3 week military will be how grateful I am not going to the military and got
Mm,
excused to do the voluntary work and stuff. I'll
yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah.
yeah,
And sorry, that's happening because you're excused, exempted because of your pneumothorax.
right. Yeah. Um
Mm.
Usually they don't excuse from one pneumothorax, but then they excused me because I have three pneumothorax and
Three.
this yeah, and all of them reoccurred naturally, not from like, you know, external
Yeah.
force or whatever. So that's why I got excused. So back
Mm.
then it was like a really tough time, but now, I'm pretty grateful, you know.
Pretty grateful that you got pneumothorax.
Yeah,
Jokes aside, how much of an impact do you think having three life-changing surgeries and circumstances, and going through a shitty disease, how do you think that impacted you and your character, kind of?
Um, honestly, like the pneumothorax incidents are the top one life-changing moments for me,
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure, dude.
Uh, um, and I'm pretty grateful how I act upon it
Hmm.
and really changed myself. Like before the pneumothorax, I believe I was more, you know, kind of goofy around, goofing around,
You're still
just
really
general.
goofy, my man.
Yeah. Yeah, but then I don't know. I actually before I didn't really think of the future so clearly and the real financial burden that our family has and like the I don't know, like the problems that will occur in the future because of those financial stuff. I didn't
Yeah.
really realize that, but in going into pneumothorax and going to the hospital and being there alone because of COVID, um, that's the time I really like that's the first time I got really depressed.
Hmm.
That's the first time I experienced depression. Before that, I even like didn't think depression was even real. I was that
Yeah.
happy before. I was just like, oh,
You
everything's
were just
happy.
you were just an annoying happy kid, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
that's why. And after experiencing that, um, and and realizing I need to do something to change my life if I wanted to, is, I I'm the only one who can do that.
yeah,
And I'm the only one who has control of it. And that's the part I like really, really um uh nailed that idea to my heart.
right.
So and thankful to, Gerard Ding too for sending me the Rich Dad
Oh
Poor
yeah,
no, yeah, Rich
I
Dad Poor Dad.
oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
You were hospitalized and you were
Yeah.
bored. I remember sending you the audiobook, right? Or the book, and then you finished the book in like 1 day, 2 days, right?
Right, right.
Just because you were bored. Oh, that's the
And
first self-improvement book you ever read, right?
yeah, that's like the book that changed everything. Like that's the book that got me into self-improvements, um that got into money stuff, how important money is too. And just basically changing my whole behavior. And so after pneumothorax and after the second one, um like apparently my whole personality kind of toned down and like I was more of like a serious, quiet kid rather than like so goofing around,
Thank
you know.
goodness.
It is God's plan again. And because of that, um, I wanted to make a self-improvement club. I wanted to do the podcast and whatnot. And because that happened around like 2021 or something,
20,
um,
yeah, 2021,
yeah,
2022.
yeah, like April. So after, online classes were done and it was like a summer break, I I think during that summer break I would wake up at 6 a.m. and then read till 8 a.m. and try to
Hmm.
finish like one book maybe each week. And
Oh wow.
I surprisingly did that and read like 7, 8, 10 different books of self-improvement during that whole summer break. And I
Hmm.
was really proud of myself during that time.
Yeah, dude.
And
Good on you.
and yeah, that really again, pushed me forward to get into self-improvement and really change and
Yeah.
do my start, working out too, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And now I'm here.
Yeah, no, for
Pretty
sure.
good.
It's all part of God's plan. I personally
Yeah.
think it's not even about like the types of books you read, because funnily enough, the person in Rich Dad Poor Dad, I think he went to jail or he's bankrupt now.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's it's a pretty ironic story. Um,
Yeah.
but I think compared to what you actually get out of the books, I think the number one thing is just taking agency in your life. Like whatever you
Right.
learn through those self-improvement books is not as important as picking up a book and taking
Yeah, it's like
agency in your life, right?
yeah, it's like the I just act of reading it. It's like shapes your personality so much more than what you actually
Yeah.
get from the book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a domino effect, no?
Yeah, right. And yeah, like thinking about it now, Rich Dad Poor Dad is a very cliche book in my opinion. But
Super.
during that time, that really impacted me. So it's just maybe it's, again, God's plan to give you the right book, right things at the right time, and you'll feel something different from it.
For sure.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm grateful that I had someone else to do it with, because those were my formative years as well.
Mm-mm.
In high school. I I feel like we all need one good buddy at least, to do it with. And I don't know, like we talk about blessings in this episode, and I honestly, I mean, I might sound crazy for it, but honestly, I think COVID was a blessing for me in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I can't talk generally about it, but
Yeah.
personally in my life, COVID helped me clean up my act, and it also helped me get closer with so many of you guys, my
Right, right.
friends who I'm still close to today, just because of COVID, and I also had a lot of time to self improve and work out, read a bunch of stuff as well. If not for
Yeah.
COVID, I don't think I'd be where I'm at right now, and so to me that's a blessing. Oh, and let's forget I said that if we're talking, generally, because
Yeah, yeah.
COVID, COVID's probably still a net negative, but
Right, right. 100%. Yeah, but for me too, it's just really like it depends on the person. Like I don't think you can generally say um I mean for COVID it's generally a negative thing, but like but what take advantage of it, I think it could change how you think of it and how the result becomes. And that's, same thing for pneumothorax. It's obviously like a terrible thing, yet, only good things happen afterwards. And same thing for COVID. I think we just took lots of advantage of what we can do during COVID, and I'm pretty grateful of that too.
mm,
So it's just how you honestly act upon it, right?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that's what shapes everything. So
I'd say so. I'd say so.
yeah.
Okay, here's another question for you. How do you think your romantic relationships have shaped your worldview? Like, what are
Is
significant
this tea
things that
okay?
you have gotten from your romantic relationships?
Mm, mm, I mean, I've never had like into like a romantic relationship, so I don't really know, but
Really, no. I
hypothetically,
think
if I
I
was,
think okay, hypothetical. Okay, let's talk hypothetical here,
yeah,
buddy.
hypothetically, if I was with a person for a long time, like,
Jeez.
um, that's a hard question for me. I never really thought of that,
Jeez, man.
but all,
Top 10 biggest red flags in a guy, man. How am I single,
but
dude? Jeez.
but hypothetically, when I like many times, but many times I think I'm so grateful that I'm with this person, that I'm so grateful that our relationship is going this way and not like the other ways that maybe we typically see or hear from others and how
Uh-huh.
they fight and stuff. And I'm very grateful that, we're very different from them. It's also kind of comparing,
Yeah.
but
Well, you
that
kind of
we're,
need that to
very,
be grateful, right?
yeah. I mean, everything is comparing,
Yeah.
that's where all the standards come from.
Hmm.
But yeah, uh, I'm just it's just again not taking things for so granted, you know.
Yeah.
And but it's for a worldview, it's just oh, I don't know if it's a worldview, but there
Okay, a
was this like
belief or, something less, something less monumental, I guess.
because TOK, you know, TOK is kind of
Of
hard for me.
course. Of course.
No, there's this kind of dilemma in my opinion. Also comes with romantic relationships. Um, it's like sometimes I feel like you gotta stay prepared emotionally and mentally,
Uh-huh.
and um, because many of the relationships you have at this early stage of life are rarely gonna go till the end, right? And and yet, if you stay with this person for so long, and you guys really love each other and stuff, and but if you guys, you know, stay together for like years and 2 years and 3 years, and eventually when you guys maybe let's say break up, I feel like I have like big dilemma of how it's gonna be, you
Yeah.
know, be going for me because at that from there, what I'm assuming is I won't be able to go back into a relationship so easily anymore after that
Mm,
because you've spent this whole, you know,
yeah.
your relationship life with this person, with this one person, and if you guys break up, it's basically like a reset button. You
Yeah.
have to talk about the entire nine, maybe like 3 years stuff that you told that person again to a different person.
Yeah, to another
S-
person, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh shit, is this really worth it? Like,
right,
what
right.
the
It's
fuck am
like,
I here for, man? Like, yeah, like, what, like, where did this all go, dude? What the fuck?
yeah,
Right?
like
No, yeah.
it's like think about the emotional stress that you will have and like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you'll just be so tired of telling the same thing to a person
Yeah,
and
to another
at the
person.
same time to yeah to another person and at the same time you'll keep thinking about the other person that you've been for so long.
Yeah,
So it's yeah it's kind of like a sad thing in my
it
opinion,
is. Yeah,
but yeah, but I don't really want to think of that too far,
for
you know,
sure.
because you never know. But
Um, I, I don't think that you can never talk about anything as an adult without getting a little sad about some aspects,
right,
right?
right.
That's just one thing I realized, like, as we age, I sound like such an unk, but it's so true.
Mm-mm.
um
Yeah,
but also I think thing about relationships is like I feel like it encapsulates just the human spirit so much because
mm,
you put love and nurture into something and into someone, and you cultivate that, and you don't know what's going to happen next. No one does, right? It's like you just
right.
trust in your higher power. You just trust in God. You trust in the universe if that's your thing, but you really don't know where it's going to end up, and you're not promised anything. That's the kind of cruel reality of things. Um,
Yeah.
and it's so easy for me to say this because I've never gone through it. But I know if
Yeah,
I'm the one on the other side, going through something hard, like it's not gonna be as easy to say, but I still think it would be true. It's the fact that like you still technically put your best foot forward, and
yeah,
like a relationship, like I don't know, it could magically turn out to be the best thing that ever happens in your life, or it could turn out to be one of the worst things. I don't think we can
Mm-mm.
get to a middle ground, no? Like those stories of couples who just magically become friends afterwards. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
That's kind of bullshit to me,
yeah,
right?
that's very true. Um,
It's either things go really well or things go really bad. And I think that I don't know. I feel like you're living a completely different life from me after experiencing a
mm,
lot of these things because I've never experienced them before. So it's like the first time I experience anything will be probably really bad for me. But you already know the feeling in your past
mm-mm,
relationships. So, I'm,
mm,
it's also a thing about growth, I think, you know. It's
mm-mm.
it's
It's
bad, but one thing I've really gotten out of this episode is gratefulness, right? It's
yeah,
so hard
right.
to be grateful about small things, but we kind of do if we, need to traverse life, no?
Yeah, yeah. Like as what was that? Like there's one quote I think of. Charles Chaplin, you know.
Mm.
There's a very famous quote. It's life. What did he say? He said something like life is, a comedy and life is a tragedy. Wait, let me just search it up.
Cut,
I don't
cut, cut.
wanna I don't
Um,
wanna say it wrong. Um, yeah. It says, life is a tragedy when seen in a close-up, but a comedy in the long run.
yeah,
Louis
when you
Shaw.
see it afar.
Yeah.
That's so true. That's so true. Do you ever remember those times in third grade or like in fifth grade where you're stressed about a project or you're stressed about a video
Right.
game? I was stressed
Right.
about like Roblox, dude. I remember. If any of y'all have played Roblox, for
Yes,
example, like,
sir.
dude, I was stressed about that. I had to go home at
Mm-mm.
3 o'clock, log on, and play Lumber Tycoon with some of my friends, and they their mothers may have grounded them and they might
Yeah.
not be able to play with me, and I was
100%.
stressed about that, dude. That was tough shit. That was serious, bro. Damn. Damn, I was
That was
sweating, dude.
life.
I was
Roblox
sweating
was life.
bullets, dude. Roblox was life. I was sweating bullets. um
Mm,
but now you look back and it's 10 years later and we laugh
yeah.
about it, but during that time it was the end of the world.
Yeah.
So it really
And
does put things into perspective, right?
yeah. You know, maybe it's like the same thing for these type of relationships. Maybe you dated this girl, for like 9 years and you guys break up and it's a big, big tragedy, but again, maybe when you're at your 50s, it could be a comedy. It's very hard to
Mm.
accept at
S
first.
Something I'd like to add there, a
Yeah.
revelation I've recently made, is that sometimes you have to actually most of the time you have to treat these things as tragedies in life, because if you don't stress about things in life, and then you'll never truly try hard at them. Like,
Mm,
if 10 years ago I never stressed about Roblox, I
yeah.
never would have made it to those games, and I never would have played
Yeah.
those games with my friends. And
Right.
it's it's I feel like you can laugh about things if you've tried hard at them. Okay, this is
Right, right.
it's 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 an abstract idea, but I learned this from having a conversation with someone else. It's like, how can you give advice to someone when you're on the other side of the fence? Like, think about the concept of work-life balance. The successful entrepreneur who's a millionaire and who has retired will tell you, might tell you, take it easy, get some work-life balance, take care of
Yeah, yeah.
yourself and whatever. But when the entrepreneur was 28, how did he get so successful? Was he following his own
Yeah.
advice, or was he obsessed with whatever he was doing? And then when he's
Mm,
54, he's giving advice that he wished his younger self would have known. But would he ever have gotten to that point where he's so
right,
successful if he took his original advice? Like
right.
it's really hard to tell, right? Because I often tell Dennis, my brother,
Mm-mm.
who's doing a really rigorous IB diploma right now, the International Baccalaureate Diploma, to
Mm.
just take it easy, don't stress about it, bro. Like work life balance, bro. Like enjoy your games,
Mm,
go hang out with friends, go to parties. But like a bit of it is also a bit of it is also being inconsiderate, because I remember how wrangled up I was during
yeah,
those formative years, when I did the IB diploma. And if someone told that to me, it would probably go out the other ear,
right, right,
So
right.
we also have to consider that. We can't just tell ourselves to laugh about the situation when it hasn't
Mm-mm.
ended yet. But eventually, we know that if we try our best in something, eventually we'll have the privilege to laugh about it. I think that's my philosophy.
Yeah, I I really agree to that. Because in Instagram or YouTube too, there's so many videos of that, and I actually never really thought of that. You know, I would take their advice. Maybe, maybe that is a better way. Maybe because I feel like those type of devices are more comforting for you, for the person hearing, because that's the way. That's in a way like a simpler, easier way of achieving something, you know? And because it's easy, obviously,
Or to have like
it'll be more
balance, you
like,
mean?
yeah, maybe like, have more work-life balance, or like you said, go have fun, take it easy with IB and stuff. It's more comforting. But as you said, m- like to truly be that person who just gave you that advice, I feel like you just gotta do what you think it takes to do, you know, and not
Yeah.
really. I mean, there's your own
Mm-hmm.
way, and do it
Yeah. Yeah.
your way. Yeah,
There is a lot of nuance here. Truly a lot of nuance. Like
yeah,
sometimes, like, maybe you need to put your head down for 1 year and work your ass off, but like the next year you don't necessarily have to do that, because I
yeah.
think your work compounds, right? You slowly become better at whatever you do, and like you technically don't need to work as hard anymore. But if you're starting out at something, you probably need to work hard, like really hard,
Mm,
right?
mm, mm. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
And okay, let's go back to gratefulness.
Okay,
Because I think it's a really it's a really big thing. I think I'm gonna name this episode after gratefulness.
okay.
But it's something really hard to do, I think.
Yeah, it's
And
like everybody talks about it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to, really take it into heart, right?
I heard a famous quote that you need to kind of fake it till you make it. Like like it's so
Yeah.
hard to feel grateful about things, right? So whenever in the morning I journal and I put things I'm
Mm,
grateful for, I'm like, this is
that's great.
BS. Do I really think this? Like, how am I grateful for a cushion under my, like I know I should be grateful for it, but I don't necessarily feel it right now. And then I'm like,
Mm.
like, is this really? But I think fake it till you make it really works, no? Because you say it enough
Mm-mm.
and then you become grateful for it, I think.
Yeah.
I
But for me, but for me, in my case, it was like I didn't really have to fake it. Thankfully,
Oh
quote
shit.
unquote,
Okay.
thankfully, because I experienced again pneumothorax, and every
Yes.
single thing that you think of is become so grateful right after.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the hospital, you have a tube inserted on your side of your lung,
Yeah.
and when you have that inside your body for the entire duration of, hospitality, and you're hospitalized,
Hospitalization. Yeah.
yeah, you basically can't walk normally. You can't, you can't do full on normal shower. You can't
Yeah.
just lie down and then roam around like you wanted to.
Yeah, you can't
Uh,
even sit down and take a shit properly, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that's
and
yeah.
and like the biggest thing from there was I usually sleep. At first I started looking at the ceiling, and then maybe like after 5 minutes,
Oh
I
man,
go to
it's
the
a
side right.
procedure. Yeah, 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 I
You
get you.
know, I
I
get.
can never sleep on my side though. I the
Yeah, yeah.
success rate's really low actually.
But you go to the side and you try to make yourself sleepy, and then when you're sleepy you go back. There's a whole thing, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
when you're like that and you have a tube on your right lung, you can't move to the right, and
Fuck,
the only
man.
way to sleep is looking at the ceiling and just having like a straight pose. And it's actually pretty terrible than it sounds when you try to sleep in a place where there's lights everywhere when it's like 3 a.m. still, you
Yeah,
know um nurses going to you every 2 hours, doing
yeah,
checkups, and every 6 a.m. I had to go downstairs, do my x-ray every single day for 2 months. I mean for 1 month. So that whole thing makes it really grateful for me to just be able to sleep at night with peace. I think the
yeah.
best, that's the number one thing in my opinion, after along with eating, being able to
Which,
eat good
yeah.
and then sleep good.
Which is why comparison is so useful because we mentioned
Right,
comparison a
right,
while ago and we were like you know you kind of need comparison. There are people on the internet telling you you should never compare yourselves to other
right,
people.
right.
That's just false, dude.
Yeah,
Because
and
comparison
yeah,
sometimes is what makes you feel grateful, right?
yeah, that's the whole
um
thing,
it's
you know.
like, of course, you can compare yourself to people with more, but you can also compare yourself with people who have less, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and I, there's this one speech from Mr. Atkins too again.
Wow.
I don't know.
This guy's making several cameos on this short episode. Wow, what a
He
time.
does lots of, speeches, and not all of them really gets into my ear. I mean, they're
Yeah,
great, but I don't really remember them that much.
yeah, they're not all profound, you
Right.
know. It's
Yeah.
it's like a mix and match.
But there's this one thing that I still remember, even though it was like years and years ago. And that's that when he saw this wheelchaired disabled man, he compared himself to that person, and then felt grateful that he could be walking, running, and just standing. And he kind of felt guilty about that. He said that he compared himself with a weaker, lesser person. So he confronted that to the person, to the disabled guy,
Huh.
and
I
and
must have
then
been sleeping this chapel because I don't remember this
yeah, it
story.
was like years
Um,
ago, and he surprisingly was also grateful that someone was able to, feel better. about themselves by,
Oh wow.
looking at me. So looking at him. So he was, yeah, he was again grateful about him being the factor that someone could have, felt grateful them for themselves. So that kind of shocked me and really changed my whole perspective of comparing with people. And maybe, as you said, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, this past month, without going too much into detail, I'm in a recovery group with around
Right.
30 other men, okay?
Mm-mm.
And we have this activity at night and in the mornings. It says list down one thing you're grateful for every single day. And so many people have listed down things that happen in their life, menial things to some other people, like going for a walk, or bigger things like spending time with their loved one, significant other, and you
Mm.
know, uh, I've put down like, oh, I've had a nice breakfast and stuff like that. But going through all of these things and seeing what other people are grateful for, like
Yeah.
they just it just helps you, be grateful for your own life. Like people put down, I'm grateful to have a freaking job, and I'm like, yeah, dude, hell yeah. I'm
Uh,
me too, dude. Like if I was in your position, right? We have so much to be grateful
mm,
for, and that has really helped with my mental health for sure. 100%
mm,
that's helped with my mental health. Um, cause cause comparison is like more of a human act. No, it's like we
yeah.
compare ourselves to other people uh when we know where we're at, to gauge where we're at in life, that too.
Mm-mm. You know, it might sound funny or like too exaggerated, but sometimes I actually believe that I'm pretty grateful that I'm in such a financially low position in life,
Hmm.
and that maybe, I need to, when I'm living by myself, I need to start living in this, one room, really tight, terrible apartment or whatever in the future. And I don't know, I'm kind of still grateful about that because because from that position, I know I'm only gonna get higher, I'm only gonna grow.
Yeah.
So in the future, I won't be able to do that experience if even though I wanted to, you know,
Yeah.
because maybe I'm more well
Yeah.
off by
Okay,
then,
okay,
I'm more
okay.
well
I
off by then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought you'd say the ruler of the
No,
world or something, or seven houses in
not that.
Switzerland, Paris, New York. Okay,
Not
okay,
that, not
yeah.
that.
I get what you mean,
Yeah,
because when you're at rock bottom and you're not at rock bottom, that's a win. Because anything not rock bottom is a win, right?
right,
Um,
exactly. So I'm
yeah,
grateful I'm, having these experiences because it's all, in a way kind of fun too. It's like a game. Life is
yeah.
a game basically.
Yeah, if we
And
think about life as a game, it becomes less serious, and it becomes less taxing on us, right? Like some
mm-mm.
people are born with better gaming skills. Fuck, you know. Some people pay to win. Some people buy skins, and
That's actually so
right.
true.
So
Yeah.
some people buy the battle pass, right? Um, I
Buy
you know,
skins,
college is the battle pass, right? College is the battle
Right,
pass,
right.
right? Um, you know, uh, all of these things accumulate. But if we think about life as a game, then it really does help, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, I have a couple more, um, basically, quick answer questions. Not quick
All
answer,
right,
like
sure.
fast fire questions.
Sure.
I have
I'm
here.
ready.
You ready? Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
5 second answer.
Oh, wow. No, 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 no. You'd be like a robot,
Okay,
dude.
not like that. Okay,
Okay,
all
well,
right.
what are your favorite books and movies?
Uh,
Is this hard?
there's so many.
Oh
Um,
dear, we're talking to a scholar here, a learned scholar, man.
okay, books. Books. Oh, man, I forgot the title.
Shit, how is
Um,
it one of your favorite books and you forget the title, dude?
I know the author though, surprisingly. It's
How do you know? That's my question. How do you know the author and not the title of the book, dude?
Oh, okay. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Oh,
That's number
okay.
one of my top five.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I get it. His name is pretty memorable. I thought his name was the
right?
book title.
Right? It's pretty Napoleon Hill. That's a dope name.
That is a
So
dope
yeah.
name. What's
So
what's
Think
what's
and
it
Grow
about?
Rich.
Thinking and
Base
growing rich?
yeah. Basically again, finance stuff and what separates the leaders, the successful people from like the quote unquote
Yeah,
failures.
yeah, yeah,
And it rather than talking about like vague stuff like how many self-improvement books do, it actually like lists down in numbers and stuff of the characteristics or like the to-do list. So it's
yeah.
very practical in a way. So I found it really nice. And another book was um it was actually
Um,
it was it was
jeez, brain rot.
um it was the worrying, how to stop worrying and start living.
Yeah,
That one's also
Dale
very
Carnegie.
in a way yeah, cliche, but it actually helped me a lot. And
What's one piece
enough
of advice to help
from
you
there.
stop worrying? That's yeah,
Um
that you apply.
uh Hmm. I mean, I have some, but I'm trying to find the best one.
You don't have to find the best one,
Mm,
just find one.
okay, sure. One is just have yourself busy, basically. You know,
Mm,
like it's just saying that if someone's so busy, do you think they will have time to worry about certain, small stuff or whatever stuff? So make yourself busy and, start doing something if you don't have. Because
mm,
the idea of worrying comes from boredom too. Because your mind is just wandering, trying to find interesting stuff, and it's, wandering.
yeah,
That's why you start worrying too. So, just do something, make yourself busy. That's one thing.
yeah. Oh wow.
And
Uh,
yeah,
wow, wow,
why?
wow. I actually agree, but also disagree at the same time.
Mm-mm.
'Cause I find that keeping myself busy so much, like, it also just drowns out things I need to address.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes you're bored and you just can't be busy, right? And you just kind of
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
sit with the boredom. And I'm not a hippie by any means, but I really really like meditating right now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just short meditations because we have an instructor in our men's group who facilitates amazing meditations, and it's
That's great.
it's a lot of like spiritual stuff that I never think that I'd actually get into, but it's like
Yeah,
sitting
yeah.
still like and
Mm,
interlocking your fingers and pressing your thumbs together and staying silent for 2 minutes and just like sitting in the silence, or breathing in and out and thinking about nature, and feeling your heartbeat and feeling your connection
mm,
to all these things. And I don't know, I feel like those can also address worrying because
mm, mm,
I found myself as well, like at points in my life, especially during IB, where I have so many worries, but I just bury them with shit to do, and I never actually address them. I never allow myself to be bored or feel anything. So
Yeah.
that's my nuanced side of the coin. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah. And I don't know. Um, I find that very cool actually. Meditating.
Oh, thank you.
I'm thinking how many people could actually do meditation, properly for even few minutes. Because today in this world
Yeah,
it's
you're right. A really helpful thing my meditation teacher actually said is he just told all of us blokes, he's just like, lads, um, I've been meditating for years, and if I'm being honest, on a good day, I can only meditate for 3 seconds. And like he says, like
Exactly.
he meditates for 3 seconds, then there's a superfluous extraneous thought going through his head, and I'm like, hey, you know what, that's actually really helpful, because what my
Yeah.
meditation coach told us was, in meditation school, I know there's meditation school, I was shocked too, I was like, what the
Yeah.
heck. He said the instructors always tell you, as long as you try to meditate, and as long as the thoughts that are intruding in your mind, you try to
Right.
push them away, you're doing good for yourself and you're doing it correctly. And I was just
Mm,
like, wow, that's actually really reassuring. You can
mm-mm.
meditate and not reach enlightenment at the end. You can just be a regular human being trying his best to
Right, right.
push out thoughts, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. 99.999% of the population can't meditate for long
Yeah.
periods of time, but
Right.
you know, I find it comforting to know that we don't need to
Mm-mm.
have any benefits, you know.
Mm. Um, Thinking about a different book or what you say, movies?
Yeah,
Movies.
movies, dude. Jeez,
Mo
movies. Books only, man. Come on, movies too.
movies. I mean,
Man.
ah, what are there? I mean, there. I love Interstellar. That's
Oh,
that's like a
dude.
cliche type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everybody loves
Interstellar.
Interstellar.
Yeah,
Um,
you're gonna hate me, but I haven't watched Interstellar. It's on my watch list,
it
and I
is
listen to the music. I listen to the music, but I've just
music.
never. Yeah, yeah, I know, right? I'm that sort of
What?
lame, but yeah, I've never watched it, dude.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it is on my watch list. It's like priority on my watch list. It's VIP.
Mm.
Um,
Um,
how about 500 Days of Summer? Because that's the last movie you told me about.
yeah, I find it like it was okay in my opinion. Mm, big, I think the main factor it was kind of, okay, was because the timeline goes back and forth so many times. Um,
Ah,
yeah, it kind of breaks the connection with the audience. So I didn't really
mm,
feel connected with the characters. That's why I couldn't,
really?
rate it
Really?
high.
I watched it with Andres actually.
Oh, you
And
watched it. How
yeah,
was it?
I watched it. I watched it with Andres, and
Yeah.
that was peak bonding. That was peak bonding. We
Why?
usually just watch movies. I don't know. That's our friendship time, dude. But
Right, right.
dude, I was it was so funny because we could relate to so many scenes of that movie. We were just sitting down and we were like, dude, that's fucking you, dude. That's you. That's you with this girl.
I
That's
can
you
I
with
can see that.
you
I
know.
can see that. I can see
Um
that. Yeah.
and I think the reason I liked it, it's definitely not one of my favorite movies, but it's a good movie for me because
Right,
it
yeah, it does.
tells the story, it tells love from a guy's perspective. Uh,
Mm,
cause cause I don't think many movies do that, you know.
yeah,
Right? A lot
actually.
of movies are too picturesque and they're too convenient.
Mm-mm.
This one's a little bit of a rebel, honestly, in my opinion. Because it's not a love story, and the guy gets
Mm,
hurt a lot, and he's kind of a loser sometimes, and you kind of relate to
yeah.
him. So
Mm-mm-mm.
I thought it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to. You couldn't relate at all to the guy.
Um, Not so much. It was more like I was watching it from like third person perspective or some sort.
Ah, I get it.
It's a
Yeah,
movie that I think like basically like a very better version of it is La La Land. And
La La
La La
Land.
Land, it's
I
I
loved La
really
La Land.
I me too, I that movie, even though there's musicals and stuff, you really get to connect with these people. And the ending, everybody talks about the ending of La La
Yeah,
Land.
the ending was amazing. Right.
That's why it's very sad, but I really liked it too. Um I liked I liked
La La Land.
mm,
La La Land is
you
such a
know
great movie. Such a great movie. I
um
love the soundtrack of La La Land.
yeah, of
And
course it's
and the ending, you're right.
everything.
Dude, if the movie ended any other way, it wouldn't be a good movie in my opinion.
Right, right. That's what I'm thinking too. It's so sad that I even cried, but
I didn't
but
cry watching it. I was happy watching it because it was such a good movie.
mm,
I was happy watching it because I was like,
mm,
Damn, dude, this is a good ending." It's
yeah,
crazy.
I want to watch it
Yeah,
again, honestly.
yeah.
Um,
Me too. Um, and the
um,
music's just phenomenal. So
there's this. I just want to talk about two more movies. One
okay.
is one is like a very different genre of Shutter Island by DiCaprio.
Shutter Island. Yeah, we watched that
It's
together actually, bud.
oh yeah, we
Yeah.
did. I forgot.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't think you liked it, no.
Not very much. It was too psychic for me. Even though I just announced myself a hippie a while ago, it's too psychic for me.
But for me, because I because I was pretty into cinematic and stuff, cinema and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. In the like the like the shots, like the dialogues, like the acting and everything, it was pretty
Yeah.
great. That's why I found it really nice. And from the perspective and the story itself too, I found it. It's pretty confusing, but it's nice. That's what makes it nice. And
Mm.
but another one I really, really want to watch again is Eternal Sunshine.
Oh my, I dude, I was going to mention Eternal Sunshine, because
No
you
way.
mentioned Shutter Island. I was gonna say I didn't like the movie Eternal Sunshine.
Really?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think there's a running theme here. It was too psychic for me as well, and too too mind-bogglingly what the heck for me. That's the best way I can
Really?
describe it. Yeah.
Um,
Um
Honestly,
I
that's what
hate
I
those
liked
types
it
of
of.
movies. I hate those types of
Really?
movies that make you think like, what the hell did I just watch? Like, is the man crazy or is this like
Or you
some
just don't
sort of
understand it.
yeah, you just don't understand. Like there's some plot twist at the end where like the entire movie is
Okay.
actually a simulation of someone's brain and you're just like, what the heck's going on here?
What?
Yeah.
I bet you would hate Inception too then.
I was
You
gonna
have you heard
watch
that?
Inception. I was
You would
gonna
hate
watch
it too.
Inception. I was gonna watch it actually, but I now that you say that, I might not watch it. Dang,
Many of
dude, that was
many of
boring.
Christopher Nolan's movies are like that.
Yeah,
But Eternal Sunshine, I don't know. I feel like I wasn't fully, I don't know. I couldn't really understand it like you said,
yeah.
and I really want to understand it again. That's why I want to
It's
watch it again.
it's about a doctor
Yeah, yeah.
who can like cut inside your brain to make you
Yeah.
think some sort of way. It's like the Matrix. Like you take a pill and everything
Cause
is, you know.
yeah, cause it actually involves like the topics I really am interested. It talks about dreams. I'm really passionate about that. It talks about memory and forgetting memory, and yeah, memory. I like forgetting memory itself. It's very, very sad for me.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
very cliche, but it's a big topic for me. And it kind of had like a love stories too. So those type of all combined was pretty good for me. So I just want to
Huh.
watch it again. Yeah, to feel the thingy again. Yeah.
Okay.
You wanna know this one, lastly, you wanna know this one Korean movie?
The one that made you cry.
Oh yeah. Did I tell you about that?
I think so. I think so.
Oh, I don't even remember what I told you. What was it? It was like it was really good. It is really, really good. Oh yeah, A Moment to Remember,
A moment
if you
to
guys know.
remember.
That's the English
Okay.
version name.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what do we need to know? That it's just a sad Korean movie that made you
It's
cry?
it's again, I don't really want to spoil it, you gotta go with the
Okay, okay.
flow. It's just
Okay,
basically a
sure.
love story. Or is it a love story? You know.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's really good.
Okay. I mean on the topic of love, okay. This is not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily on the topic of love, more of verbal speech. I remember we had a discussion before. Why do you think it's hard for certain people, maybe including yourself, to say I love you to certain people like friends, family, like
Mm,
why do you think
yeah.
it's a word that's hard to say? I love you.
Mm. Crazy how you remember that about me too, you know? About
Cause,
me
cause,
not
cause
being
I
able
love
to.
you, man. Cause,
Oh, really?
cause, yeah, cause I love you, bro.
I
um,
okay you. I okay you. Oops. Um, I actually don't know. Cause like, to my hypothetical, imaginary girlfriend, I say I love you so easily to her and,
huh.
show affection to her so easily. But then to other people that also really matters. It's so hard. I don't know why. It's basically I cringe saying it in a way.
Oh, really?
Uh, yeah. I find it cringe and and it sounds kind of fake in my opinion.
Yeah.
For some reason, yeah. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's I don't want to sound so fake. Even though maybe I do really love them, but love again is it's a very complex feeling in my opinion. And when you're talking to the person, you might not feel the love, that you actually
You
love them.
think you think we could squeeze an imposter syndrome into this?
How? What do you think?
Oh well, you don't feel like what you're feeling. Well, you kind of think it's love, but at the same time, you're like, am I really honest enough to say this, or am I
Mm,
just faking it? Am I just being an
oh,
imposter right now?
yeah, that makes
Uh,
sense. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's something like that too. But, you know, but with your lover, it's more like it's more like you can feel that love per se
yeah, yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
inside you. That's why it's easy for me to say it. but with friends, it's like a different type of love. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's kind of
Um, I've I've always found it easy to say I love you to friends and people who aren't like romantically inclined to me. Um,
yeah.
however, it's a problem I think I face is every time I say it and then my friend says it back, I'm like, no, you don't.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's a funny
It's
thing.
a it's a bit like I think I love my friends, but I don't think they love me back. And right, it's I think it's a insecurity that definitely needs to be addressed.
Um,
Like I'm pretty confident I love the people around me. I just don't know if they love me back or, that sort of thing. So that's always been my problem actually. It's never been
that's
like saying I love you, but like feeling love from other people. I think that's been a big
mm,
problem of mine. Yeah.
yeah,
And I don't exactly know where it stems from, Maybe it could stem from childhood or, bad
yeah.
experience I had, but yeah, I'm not sure why. Um,
It's just a complex thing, you
I know,
know.
right? These things are pretty complex. Um,
It's hard to know. What was I gonna say? Yeah, like for me too, like instead of saying I love you, I I wanna show them that I love them through
yeah,
maybe like my actions or whatever,
yeah.
rather than through words. So,
Oh, well, funnily enough, I'm always the opposite. I feel like my words can fix the issue.
mm,
And then, and then I get reminded, oh, no, no, you still have to do the hard carrying of, yeah, we gotta fix this the hard way,
mm.
manually. No. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely get both sides of this story. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if there are any other things.
This might
Huh.
be like your longest podcast.
No, actually, Jennifer's
No?
podcast was a bit longer. Yeah.
Oh, it was more than an hour?
Yeah, 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 it
Oh,
was.
I didn't. Thank God, thank God.
Why you felt like you were dragging the podcast
Mm.
along?
No, yeah,
Oh,
I was scared that, yeah.
it's a good it is a good episode, so it doesn't matter if it's long, It does
Yeah.
not matter.
People
Okay,
will
here's a
hear
question
us.
for you. Yeah,
Yes.
here's a question for you. What does your nightly routine look like now? Um, yeah, well, what does let's share the nightly routine. What
How
does
did
it
you
look
come up
like
with
now?
this question?
I don't know, man. My brain just
Okay.
works differently.
I thought someone would like give you ideas because
No,
because again my hypothetical lover she makes fun of my nightly routine.
that is so
Bec-
funny. I've never asked your hypothetical lover to suggest questions for this um
Yeah,
for this podcast episode. Maybe I just know you really well, buddy. You
maybe.
know. Maybe.
Um, yeah, so nightly, I work out at home, maybe like 30 to 40 minutes, and then I'd go shower. No, you want like a detailed, you know?
I mean, maybe not too granular. Like, we don't need to
Okay.
know how long you shower for, what shampoo you use, but
Okay,
like,
okay. Okay, okay. Um, yeah, right after a workout, I I just basically shower, brush my teeth, put my lens on, my dream lens,
to help
and
you see.
yeah, to help me see the next morning. And I first do my oil cleansing.
Shit, dude.
on my face.
Wow. Yeah.
And I do my, foam cleansing to
Mm.
double cleansing, you know. And then I tap my face with towels, and then I do my,
R- what a
lotion.
princess.
I put my toner, I put my ampoule on my face, and then, I put lotion, and
Yep.
then, I kind of do my hair, and then I sleep.
Oh wow. Wow. I thought there would be more to the nightly routine. So it's just workout, take a shower, abnormally long skincare routine, then sleep. That's pretty good,
Abnormally,
honestly.
abnormally low, yeah, skincare. But these days, I kind of have calls with my hypothetical girlfriend before I sleep,
Yeah.
and then we,
Jeez, who
and then we
is this
sleep.
hypothetical girlfriend, man? Wow.
Yeah, the AIs these days are getting
Yeah, the
crazy.
the the AIs are crazy. Wow. I need
Yeah.
to. Wow. I did not know technology was like that, but
And
it's just
so yeah,
me.
I just sleep. I just, stay on my phone for a bit, and then when it's the time, I just try to sleep right away.
Yeah. Your
Um,
your sleep schedule is all good. Or would you like it to be better?
I think I'm being pretty good with my sleep schedule because
Okay.
sometimes some days I need to wake up, again, 4:30 a.m. in the morning or 6 a.m.
Gotta
And for
work.
those nights, I gotta sleep like 11 or 10, and those kind of work for me, I don't I don't stay up too late. I keep myself accountable to what I planned, and
Yeah.
so that's good.
Mm-hmm. Perfect,
Yeah.
man. That sounds like a pretty solid nightly routine. You'd be surprised.
Mm.
I've talked to so many people who have had messed up sleep schedules. And a friend of
Mm,
mine actually came over and he
really?
asked me, how can you ever feel depressed when you sleep at 10 p.m. and wake up at 7 a.m.? And I told him, oh, yeah, you're right, dude. I think I would feel much worse if I had your sleep schedule. I mean, I didn't actually say that to his face, but I thought
Okay,
that.
okay,
So I
okay.
am actually very grateful. Like,
Again,
obviously,
again.
jokes
Yeah.
aside, I'm actually very grateful to have
Mm,
routine sleep schedule, like reading before bed, and
yeah,
sleeping
for sure.
earlier. Keeps your
Just
mental health in
having
check, man. Yeah.
just having something in routine or something that you can control kind of kind of shows your character too,
Yeah.
that and that you are someone accountable and someone who can control themselves. And that's a big
Yeah.
thing, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Not a lot of
It's
people these days.
it's something you can take pride in, I think, when you don't have much other
Exactly.
things, like you could
Simple stuff.
yeah, simple things, like you could, like, sorry to, bring upon, the what you mentioned a while ago, but you could not be the richest person in the room. You
Yeah,
could
yeah,
have been dealt worse cards with your pneumothorax and all of that, but there is still, like, at the end of the day, there's still a lot you can be grateful for, and a lot that
exactly.
you are that is not your external possessions, So,
Mm-mm-mm.
yeah, you should be proud of who you are, man. And I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
So,
thank
yeah.
you.
Okay.
Sure.
That is a great episode, man. So thankful that you've been gracious enough to come on here and to be
Yes.
vulnerable and to share about yourself, dude, and to have a wonderful conversation with me. It's always a pleasure. Um,
Mm.
I miss having these calls, So
Me too,
uh, let's keep in touch, buddy. Right?
Yeah.
Um,
It was pretty grateful that we get the chance to even talk like this.
yeah.
Who knows in the future, we might be too busy, calling with,
Don't say that, buddy. I'll always make time. I'll always make
too
time.
busy, too busy
Um,
making deals,
I hope you make time, bud.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what I was talking about the attachment thing. Like I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. Grateful for you, and yeah. I guess I'll see you if I see you, and thanks once again for being on this podcast, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for hosting it, Gerard Dane.
All
Thank you
right.
so
Have a
much.
good night, dude.
Good night. I'll see you
Good night.
when I see you.